Okay, what's up guys? I'm going to show you every mod that I've done so far on my Boxster. This is a 2005 Boxster S with Sport Chrono. One of the most recent mods I did were these wheel spacers. These are 15mm hub-centric wheel spacers. The stock tires here are 265 by 35. That's a 19-inch rim. They are pretty much copies of the lobster claw. I mean, they are lobster claw wheels. They're just, you know, slightly different offsets and sizes than the 911. So the second mod I'll show you guys were these Porsche stripes, these door stripes that I put on myself. They are not the real ones, obviously, because I'm not paying $300 for a sticker. So that's the eBay special, but I think it turned out pretty decent. Working our way around the car. These turn indicators, I chose to black mine out, and these actually are like yellow LEDs now. So I think they're a bit more modern. I think it looks better on the bumper anyways. And as you can see here, I've got 10mm spacers up front, and then I have 15s in the back. Coming around to the front, the fog lights, I kept those stock, but these do have like updated LED bulbs. So I wanted it to look period correct, like an actual 2005 car would. So if we go around one more, I'll show you one of the coolest things that I've added so far. This is a Joe Toth ducktail. I think it looks pretty period correct and pretty stock. Well, not stock, but OEM, if you will. To me, it looks pretty good. Gives the car a good presence. And I think it looks OEM plus. So that's it for part of the exterior. I guess I'll show you part of the interior now. So the seats are super hot. This is a Sport Chrono car, which means you get your active suspension, you get a sport mode, and this car does have an early version of PASM. This one is just PSM, Porsche Stability Management. You get 3 dials. The red line is about at 7,000 RPM right now. It can be increased with a tune and some other adjustments. One big thing I've done to modernize this car was do an aftermarket Android head unit. There's plenty of install videos on that. I will say it's changed the car completely. It's like driving a modern car now. So that has been pretty awesome. I'm trying to think what else. Besides those mods, the car is pretty much stock. It has just under 40,000 miles, so not too many miles for being a 2005. At some point I'll probably show you guys what I've done to the exhaust. I can show you part of it right now. We've got these two Total Flow mini mufflers. I might go back to the stock system. I don't know how well you can see this, but I might go back to the, not stock, but I had Circuit Werks slash cut tips on there, and they were quite a bit louder and really cool. These kind of muffle down the energy a little bit, but make it more streetable. So anyways, I'll probably show you guys the headers next and the catback exhaust. This car has been great to own. I don't know if you've heard the things online about them having reliability issues and shit like that. It really just is overblown in my opinion. This is a 2005 model, so it does have the 3.2 liter engine. It does not have the 3.4 engine found in the Cayman, so this one is slightly smaller. This engine is closest in relation to the M96 that's found in the Porsche 996 911. So Next I'll probably cut to some underbody shots of this. To me, this car pretty much just looks like a Carrera with a shorter wheelbase and no roof. It shares a lot of parts with the 997, to be honest, especially this S model. Shares a whole lot of the running gear with the 997. And all in all, I think it's a slept-on car for what it costs. And if you're new to my channel, I'll be modifying it, showing you the stuff I've done to it, and trying to improve what Porsche intentionally held back with this vehicle, because they could not have it step on the 911's territory. Even this car with just the headers and the catback probably makes around 300 horsepower, naturally aspirated. And I think for a mid-engine car from 2005, that's honestly pretty good. I can squeeze a few more horsepower out of it with getting a Cayman intake and probably a tune. Other than that, you know, I think the car is pretty slept on. For about half of what it costs for a 997, you can get pretty similar performance, and if you're willing to modify it, you can get even closer in performance to the 997. So alright, I'll cut to a shot of the underbody now and show you guys some more of what the car looks like underneath. Okay, right here we have the passenger side bank of my exhaust manifold. And you can see these Circuit Werks headers are pretty much short tube, equal length, and then they go into this kind of triangular looking merge pipe. And then you have the cat itself, which is a 200 cell cat, back over the over axle pipes, and then back to the back muffler. I will say the hardware that they included in the kit is not very good, and you can see it is rusting there. Some of that rust is actually getting on the back muffler itself, which I really don't like. And then you can see all the way back to the little X pipe and the two mini mufflers I put on just to quiet it down. Might go back to the regular tips, I don't know yet. And then if we go over here, you can see the same thing. The supplied hardware they gave me is just rusting really bad, and you can see it's getting on my actual muffler right there, which is really not good. But after all, it is a muffler, so it's a shame. 2 years ago this looked really good. There's the other over axle pipe, flex joint, and then the other cat, which is right here. There's my oil filter. You can see right here, 986 331 18101. So I have to look up what that means later. Also, whoever worked on this last decided that this didn't need to stay connected to anything, so that's awesome. So I'm gonna get one bolt here. I'm gonna have to get a couple things right there, and on the other side as well. But anyways, these headers have been awesome so far, and they sound amazing. The only drawback I have on this system is obviously the crappy hardware they've given me that has started to rust off and spray over my back bumper. Other than that, the system has been really good. I'm also realizing my bushings are super dry rotted. I know it's not the best on a GoPro, but that's getting pretty dry rotted. I'm trying to see if there's any other things I should look out for. Everything else looks okay. Here's my sway bar. It's very crowded. Very crowded. Super cool seeing this though. Yeah, but anyways, these headers are awesome. I'm going to talk a bit more about them in a minute. So when I first got the headers, I thought I was going to be really cool and use this titanium hardware to mount the headers up. What ended up happening was the engine block and the titanium had different thermal expansion rates as well as the headers. So this guy came and popped out literally in the middle of driving it one afternoon. So that was not fun. Oh, like this side's loose too. Gotta fix that. Anyways, titanium hardware. I do not recommend it. I had to yank all that out, or rather the shop did, and get the stock Porsche hardware for this system to work. So design 911 titanium bolts, don't do it. Would not recommend. Yeah, so anyways, lesson learned there. Say that these cars are slow, but we were just at an unknown speed in Mexico that was much faster than the speed limit. So for being in Mexico in a Boxster, I'd say it was pretty quick. We'll give it one more by this wall. calls the cops and I'm gonna go home. So anyways, yeah, Circuit Werks headers and a Circuit Werks cat back pretty much will make your Boxster kind of sound like a cup car. To me, it's GT3-esque. Obviously, you're not going to get the full GT3, but maybe this is somewhere like a 997. I don't know. To me, for the money, it's really good. You know, there's a lot of products made by Soul and Fab Speed that I'm sure are excellent, really high quality. But I would also say putting those, you know, putting a $10,000 exhaust on a $20,000 car doesn't really make much sense to me. No one's gonna let me through. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I went with Circuit Werks. Price is a lot lower. It's still stainless steel. It still sounds real good. You know, I'm pretty sure the version 1.5 exhaust that I have was maybe about $1,000, and then the headers were also $1,000. So plus your labor, or you do it yourself. But I'm pretty sure the Soul exhaust probably costs like, you know, $5,000 just for the catback alone, and you know, another $3,000 for the headers, which, you know, if you have the money for a 997 or you have the money for a GT4 or whatever, that makes a lot of sense. But if you're looking at a Boxster, I already know you're spending less. So that's why I think in this case, I think it's pretty good value. I think it sounds awesome still. Coming up next, in a few other videos, I'm going to start doing the intake on the Boxster, trying to get some more efficiency there, and really see how close I can get to 100 horsepower per liter. So 100 horsepower per liter is pretty much a magic number for naturally aspirated cars. So that's what I'm going for. Alright, I'll probably conclude the video there. Thanks for joining, guys.